So would there be a relaxation of dialect films too, now that so much dialect shows are actually available on cable TV? So since we can watch Cantonese shows on cable TV, can we assume that soon we can also watch Cantonese or Hokkien shows?
Where dialect is concerned, right, we are administering the government's dialect policy. Yeah, we have this Speak Mandarin campaign thing, so it's more of a supporting the government policy. Yeah, so it will stay as it is unless the government decides to relax the policy or otherwise. Yeah.
Are there any feedback from Singaporeans about them enjoying the wider choices available now? Yeah, because we have because of film classification, we can actually enjoy more possibilities and we can actually watch more films. Yeah, are there any feedback from Singaporeans about this?
Yes, the MDA conduct studies frequently,
Yes.
But a study done last year shows that 70% of Singaporeans are generally happy with the media regulation policies here.
That's great.
Yeah, that includes the film classification system, and a significant number of parents have actually commented that they use the ratings as a guide to decide what is appropriate for their kids and not.
So I'm just wondering whether the Board of Film Censors is actually now a lot more tolerant on such M18 content.
Yes, for M18 films, we do allow some scenes of nudity and sex. Yes, I mean this we again through after consultation with the community, and they are comfortable with a certain amount of sex and nudity in M18, and of course you can expect more under an R21 rating. But again, if it's NC16, the kind of sex or nudity will be much less and more discreet and implied.
I see.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering, Vijay, how do you come to the decision that, okay, M18 will have this amount of sex or nudity scenes and R21 will have this amount of explicit sex scenes? Yeah. How is the decision reached? Would there be a survey or an interaction with people of the age group?
No, there are guidelines in place as to what is allowable, what is acceptable in a film of an NC16 rating versus a film that's an M18 rating, and so on. And one of the things that we look at is the impact of that scene on the audience.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's difficult to say exactly how much nudity is going to be allowed in a particular rating, but we do take into account the impact of scenes on an audience of a particular age, and trying to make a decision. I would say, these are not easy decisions to make,
I'm sure.
right? And the last thing the public would want is for us to follow the guidelines to the T, without really taking other factors such as the contextual aspects of the film, the artistic merits of the film into consideration. But the BFC is always mindful of the fact that their decisions are scrutinized by the public. It's there for everyone to see. And I must say, over the years, there have been very few complaints about the decisions made by the BFC. Not that there were none, but very few.
It's more on how the scenes are being portrayed and depicted, and how it is being presented to the audience. That's how we decide how we should rate a particular film.
So BFC is now more relaxed than before. So there are more films that can be shown in Singapore now. I'm just wondering what's the rate of increase like. Like maybe before 1991, the number of films that can come to Singapore is only just %. So now, how is it like all films are allowed to come to Singapore now?
The BFC rates something like 800 to 1,000 films a year. That's a lot of films.
I can imagine you have a hard time.
Yes. And so of that number of films in the past year, I think about 4 films have actually been disallowed in Singapore. And so we're talking about a film that is less than 0.5% of the total number of films. So I think that puts into perspective how much censorship there is in Singapore. It's virtually non-existent compared to pre-1991, when prior to the classification system, many films just couldn't be shown because they had to be cut to a PG rating.
So that was the end of my interview with Chien and VJ. I understood more about the Board of Film Censors' role now in film classification, and I'm glad that Angels and Demons is classified as PG, so many people can actually enjoy the film in its entirety. I think it's a great thing that more films can be shown on Singapore cinema screens now.
Yo, what up? It's Razor Pop lah!